of the most iconic voices in golf are back to save the day and ready to entertain in their newly weekly video podcast. Kostis and McCord, off their rocker.
Welcome to another episode of Kostis and McCord, off their rockers. Mike Abram here with you, producer and partner with Gary and Peter, and boy, we've got another great show for you today. We really love all the comments that we're getting in from everybody on our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. And today we've got another great show from the beautiful Nemacolin Resort in Southwest Pennsylvania. We did an evening, some questions and answers, some really interesting topics that Peter and Gary get to answer for you. Peter's going to be getting to some tips that some of you mentioned in the comments. Remember, like, subscribe, and share with your friends. We love that everyone's sharing it with their friends and giving us all that great feedback. We're also going to be doing our version of Peter's Tour Pro breakdowns in slow motion for you coming up in the following weeks, and we'll keep putting out these episodes with these great stories, great tips, and we got some really special interviews coming up. So without further ado, here we were very recently at the Nemacolin Resort in Pennsylvania. Kostis and McCord, off their rockers. Yes.
What was the first commercial?
I want to just tell you guys.
What was the first commercial we did?
The first commercial I think we did was called Golf Logic's handheld GPS. It was after I did Sky Caddy. And Peter and I.
Then I'll tell that story.
Please.
From that day, because Gary and I lived less than a mile apart.
Yeah.
And I made an agreement that I would pick him up, and we would drive out to Superstition Mountain where we were doing the thing. And so I pull up at 6:30 in the morning. Gary walks out. And Gary has an absolutely pitch black goatee and mustache.
Out of the blue.
I mean,
I look fantastic, by the way.
It's jet black.
Jet black. Just recently dyed.
And I
like
look
an hour
at him.
before.
I look at him. I go, "What the hell?" And he goes, "Yeah, I left it on too long."
Well, and they got out there. One of the things Peter and I bonded with was having fun with Gary, which was during that Golf Lodges commercial, we sent him out in the desert because it was a handheld GPS. You could still know the yardage and had a lot of fun. But one of the things that these guys, they're also actors, and you might know them from their roles in Tin Cup. And one of the things I think I'd like to hear a little story about their friend who Peter taught and Gary taught on Tin Cup, Kevin Costner. Can you share a little story about Tin Cup?
Not that story.
Tin Cup, no. There's a. Okay, so my agent called up. Tom was working for him then. Tom now owns a company, and he called up and he says, "Listen, I got a script here from Hollywood about a golf movie, and they want you to take part in it." What? And I go, "Just send it." So he sent it. I got it the next day. So the cover letter on it said that working title Tin Cup, written by Ron Shelton, starring Kevin Costner, Warner Brothers. Legit, right?
Yeah.
Legit. The paper
Sounds like
looked
it.
good. So when you get a script, how many of you ever gotten a script for a movie you're in? I didn't think so. So here's what happens. When they say you're in the movie, you go through that script at lightning speed to see how many times you see your name. Because it could be one, right? One line, 3 words. That you're in the movie. That's not in the movie. So I go through, and there's quite a bit of me in the movie. All right, I'm taking this serious.
Got your attention.
So the next thing, I start reading it. And I read the script, and there was 2 things in the script that I had actually done in real life on the tour, and nobody in the world knew about it. Literally nobody. Because that was in the days before we had cell phones and everything else, and there was no way to do it unless a writer got it. So the one was the scene where the pelican, okay? We were in Pensacola. I am staying in a condo with Bill Calfee, who was the commissioner of the Korn Ferry Tour, John Schroeder, and Ed Sneed, and myself. And we're playing gin because we're washed out for the day. So we go in there, and we're in a condo and everything. I go back in the back bedroom to take a leak, and my clubs are in there and everything. And I start to walk down, and I look down the hallway, and we're on a canal, and on the end of the wharf, a pelican lands on the post that holds up the wharf, 150 yards away.
75.
No, it was longer than that because it was a hell of a shot. Anyway, so I tell the boys, I said, guys, and I look at my bag and it's there, and I go, see the pelican out there? I said, I bet you I can knock it off its perch. Give me 10 shots. Bet you I can knock him off his perch. So all of a sudden the money came up, and there was a pile there, good pile. I got to move the lamp, and then you had sliding glass doors you had to move, and then there's a wood railing. So I was all excited, and I took all the action myself. But then when I got back in the back bedroom, the first thing you do is, what am I going to hit to get it through the hallway, over the couch, through the living room, through the sliding glass doors, over the railing, and another 75 yards out to the deal. Oh, I'm in trouble, because the first thing is, if I'm going to hit a knockdown, I might tear the carpet up. And I didn't have any money. It was I still don't have any money, but it was 1994. So you have to, I don't know how you would teach this, Peter, to go down and hit a knockdown, a climbing knockdown with a lot of spin, with a 4-iron, without hitting the ground. It's really hard. It's all it has to do with the wrist cock up. Anyway, first ball I hit, it just about hit the wall, goes over where the lamp was. Just now, I'm going to break the window. I'm going to break the sliding glass window. Misses the window. Next thing I look, now all the guys are jumping up and looking. I hit it about a foot over that frickin' pelican, and he took off on the first shot. Literally, I played the tour for about 30 years. The best shot I've ever hit by far. Wasn't close.
And it was his highest earning day on the regular tour.
Yeah. So the other one was I made a 15 on the 16th hole, kept hitting the water like Kevin did at the ending. I did that in Memphis, and that got in. So I called Ron Shelton up the next day, and I said, all right, you got a movie going on. First of all, where did you get these stories? He goes, you did them. So no, I did them, but no one knows. And he sent me the articles that they were in the deal. So anyway, we get this script, and I'm going to be the technical director. So now one of my deals was I had to get all the right guys and everything. So I got Peter. And when you go get tour players to do this, as Peter will tell you, you sit around and do squat in a movie. You don't do anything. It's the most boring thing you've ever seen. So you can't get type A personalities climbing all over wanting to do something. So you go out and you get Freddie Couples, you go out and get Andrew McGee, all these guys that are very compatible, and they're going to go. And then we spent 3 months. He came and Peter and I taught Kevin how to play. He told me he'd played 12 times in his life with his father-in-law, so he had no idea the golf swing. And we've got to teach him a golf swing that looks like he's from Salome, West Texas, which means the wind blows as hard as it did today here. Okay? And he had a big, long, loopy swing. And the thing was trying to convince an actor, Class A actor, that we know what we're talking about because he didn't know who we were. He had no idea. So anyway, that's how the whole thing started. And then the stories that ensued were unbelievable after that.
Yeah, well, most of those we can't repeat.
Yeah.
But that's part of the charm of Kostis and McCord off their rockers is that we try to tell all the stories. These guys have said, hey, we're 75. What the hell?
Who cares?
Who cares
getting ahead
anymore?
of me now? Yeah. So one of the deals, I'm going through a lot of these. There was one scene that you saw. It was at the end when Kevin kept hitting the ball in the water on the last hole to win the U.S. Open. That was me hitting the water I hit 7 balls in the water in Memphis. So the deal was that We had 5,000 extras. 5,000 extras. And believe me, to get 5,000 people and pay them and give them lunch and everything else is a hell of a cost. Hell of a cost. So we're going to shoot this on a Saturday. And there's 5,000 people lining this fairway. Okay? Lining the fairway. And you've got 2 actors that don't play golf at all. And they show up in the morning. Kevin cannot see straight because Friday night they go to the cabarets in town.
Cabaret, yeah.
Don Johnson and Kevin were fully engaged in the cabarets throughout Houston at that time.
Yep.
That we were shooting it. So they came to me and they're literally, you've never seen 2 human beings look this bad. And they go, we got to cancel the day. We had a bad night. Now, I'm the liaison between the producer, director, and the writer, and these 2 guys at this point. And I go, and now I'm going, guys, Ron Shelton, we've got 5,000 extras out there.
And that's not cheap either. So.
And it's unbelievable. So anyway, I go to Ron, I said, Ron, these guys can't, they could not throw a golf ball down that fairway without killing somebody right now. And you don't want these 2 guys who are they're still drunk. And we got 5,000 people, and as you know in golf, the people off the tee crowd in, okay? And so I go, Ron, what do we do? And he goes, well, you got to get them to hit it. You got to get them to hit it. And I go, they're going to kill somebody. What's our liability here? They're going to kill somebody. Because when you shoot a scene, it takes forever. Okay? It's point of view over here, point of view from that guy, point of view so it's not 1 tee shot. It's 4 hours worth of tee shots. These guys they can't even stand up. They're so drunk. So we get there, and Peter, you weren't there. And I go, okay, what Peter got? So I go, all right, Ron, how about this? How about if I get him to hit it high and hit it over the people anywhere and then act like it's a tee shot? And so we finally ended up using wiffle balls.
Yeah.
So the shots they saw in that were wiffle balls, and then in post they filled up the holes.
Oh, God.
And I don't think those guys knew it at all, that they were hitting wiffle balls, because they couldn't see. And they tried 2 shots with a real ball. Let us try it.
And
well, Kevin fell down teeing up the ball. That's a pretty good indication of how this was going to go. So and then to try to convince movie stars that, and Peter we did this a lot. He'll tell you a story about a wiffle ball. You had the great idea, first of all. When Don Johnson would swing, his practice swing with no ball there was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So we go, and you put it down. An actor, both of those actors would not act until they hit the golf shot.
Here's Don
Good.
Johnson. Here's Don Johnson with no golf ball. Here's Don Johnson with a ball.
That was actually better than he
yeah,
looked.
And we had to make it look like he could win a U.S. Open. So I went to Ron Shelton and I said, Ronnie, look, here's what you got to do. You make him make a practice swing. Tell him you're recording something for whatever, and you just have him make a practice swing over the tee. And he would make a practice swing over the tee, and it looked actually quite good. I said, then you put down a golf ball, let him hit it, whatever. Cut that out, punch in a real golf ball over his practice swing. So virtually every swing you see of Don Johnson in Tin Cup was a practice swing to make it look decent.
He doesn't know it until this comes out.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting. Here's one. Here's a good one. Just kind of remember this. You remember in the bar when I'm sitting there and I grab the seltzer thing and I'm emceeing Kevin trying to hit the pelican, right? Trying to hit the pelican out there in the deal. So we're going about this, and the deal was he had to hit a golf ball out through the window. with people sitting there. And I go to Ron, I said, Ron,
Trouble.
someone's going to die. Someone's going to die. So we did the same thing that Peter got, which was a good idea, wiffle ball going out. And the wiffle ball didn't go through the doors for 2.5 hours.
Oh, my.
And now we're going, I said, what I'll do is we'll do a cut. Kevin will take it back and go to impact. We cut, and then we're going to show the ball going out through the window. And I'll hit the ball out through the window towards the pelican. Now, this is Hollywood. First of all, the bar in there was built 5 days prior to us shooting the deal. I thought it was a real bar. It was oak wood, everything else. And then there was a wharf out there on an island out there in a deal, and the wharf was fake. One night, this was in a hotel, there was a bunch of noise in the room next to me. So I called the front desk, it's 2 in the morning, I said, what the hell's going on? Well, I come to find out later, that's where the 3 pelicans were staying. So they have 3 trained pelicans. Now listen to this. So the deal was, to do this scene, I had to hit the ball, or Kevin had hit the ball out the window, which was a wiffle ball. And then there's a guy sitting over there, his name is Jamie, remember what the,
yeah.
And he invented this, for the movie, he invented this cannon that can shoot a golf ball 400 yards, and he can spin it and make it hit and back up any distance. It was unbelievable, this gun. And he sat on the other side where you couldn't see him, and as soon as that ball went out and went towards the pelican, we cut to a ball hitting the pedestal there, and it was fake. The pelican was on top, and they had an air hose. They had a thing going up to the pelican's hump, and they would hit it, boom, and it, woo, hit him in the arse. And the pelican would take off, and he'd fly around the deal, and he'd land back on the damn post, and we'd do it again.
Wow.
And he was this. So you can imagine, Kevin had to get it out the window. The guy had to hit the post, and then the pelican had to be right over the air hose so he could whoop up his arse, and then it would take off. And that we did for about 6 hours, doing that. In the meantime, I had a line in this that was literally a paragraph. And I was up all night learning the line, my lines. It was like that. And I mean, and I've got all the actors there that are real actors and stuff. So we get there in the morning and we start to shoot this. And the first one, they go to me and I go to this line and I hit it. Never missed. I take 2, we'll do it again. Never miss, never miss. So when we break for lunch at noon, and Renee Russo comes up to me and she goes, and who are you? And I go, well, I'm the golf pro and I'm kind of coordinating all the golf stuff. Oh, she says, oh, okay, that's the reason. And I go, what reason? She goes, well, you hit the line every time perfectly. I go, yeah. She goes, anybody tell you? I go, what? No. We don't even know the line when we show up. She said, a scene like that will take 6 hours. And there's different camera shots. So you go to the script girl and you go, what's my line? She goes, blah, 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 blah. And you say it because you know it's not going to be the line. So I spent 4 hours learning this stuff like an idiot in front of these people. And you could tell right away. So if you ever get in a movie, don't learn your lines. Just show up and the script girl will read the line and then you can go. So there was a lot of things that Peter and I learned in this, in making movies. Again, for one day, it's about 1.5 minutes in the movie. That's why it took 3 months to shoot the movie. So it's an arduous task, to say the least, to do these things.
Arduous at the least.
Arduous.
For more stories like that, be sure to like, subscribe, and share to Kostis and McCord Off Their Rockers on our YouTube channel, Kostis McCord. You can find more. There's some great stories, great episodes, and we've got a lot more to come. And remember, our presenting sponsor, Swing U, an incredible app with GPS, strokes gained, and green reading. So don't go away. Coach Kostis will be back with some tips to help your game right here on Kostis and McCord.
Kostis and McCord Off Their Rockers is presented by Swing U. Check out the incredible Swing U app. It gives you great GPS course data from tee to green, and including green reading. And even simple strokes gain features can help you improve your game. So go out and check on the App Store or at swingu.com. It's a great app. It'll shave strokes off your game.
Visit our website at kostismccord.com. Like and subscribe at our YouTube channel and on any social media, Kostis and McCord, Off Their Rockers. Now it's time for Coach Kostis. Peter gives us some great tips to help our games.
Hi folks, Peter here. I'm here in my house in my beautiful Foresight Sports sim in a box with my quad. This is where I do a lot of research. I get up late at night, maybe have a glass of wine, have a thought, think about it, maybe come out and hit some golf balls. But today, I'm going to try and help you understand something about the golf swing. The only two parts of us that are in contact with something else in the golf swing are our feet and our hands. That's it. And you need to have the feet and the hands working in rhythm and in sequence. The feet pick up the rhythm of the hands and arms going back. The hands and arms pick up the rhythm of the feet coming forward. You don't want to stand flat-footed. Now in the golf swing, there's a move, and it varies amongst people, but you have to move to your right side in the backswing. You don't want to sway. You're going to turn. Weight's going to go toward the right heel. Left heel will come up in my book. Weight goes toward the left toe. But then we have to put that heel back down, transfer off of our right side at exactly the right time so that we can get on through the shot. Now, in order to do that, years ago we came up with a drill called the baseball drill. And it's got a couple different variations, which I'll show you. But basically, here's what it is. You set up to the golf ball correctly in your normal posture for whatever club you're using. I would say start off with a pitching wedge, 9-iron, 8-iron, something like that. You get all set up in your posture, and then what you do is you bring your lead foot back to your trail foot. Bring your feet together, bring the club head back. So now what we're going to do is we're going to swing the hands and arms, we're going to turn the body to the top, then we're going to pick up the left foot and replant it exactly where it was. I'm not going to stride way over here. I'm not going to stride open. I'm going to learn to swing, step, swing. So it's 1, 2, 3. And this will help you get the rhythm between your feet and your hands. So down the line it looks like this. I'm going to set up, lead foot back, swing back, step, and swing. So that's the original baseball drill. Now, when you get a little bit more advanced, it requires a little bit quicker footwork, a little bit better rotation. You'll start in your normal position. You'll swing back and pick up the foot as you take it back. Now, in order to do that, you can't have too much weight on your left side. You have to have a fraction more weight supported by your right leg so that this leg is freed enough that it can be picked up and moved. So once I pick it up, then I replant it. So it's a much quicker transition, but it's still the baseball drill. Normal start, pick it up, replant, and go. Down the line, looks like this. Set, back, pick it up, and go. Set, pick it up, and go. So these two forms of the baseball drill will really do wonders for helping you get the rhythm in your feet and the rhythm in your hands and arms to match up so that you can get yourself properly sequenced in your golf swing. Try it, the baseball drill. I promise you it'll help. Don't go away. Gary and I will be right back with more with Kostis and McCord Off Their Rockers.
Strokes gain stats are finally easy with the most 5-star rated golf app in the country. Swing U accurately and objectively provides feedback across driving, approach shots, chipping and pitching, bunker play, and putting. Easily identify your strengths and weaknesses, and laser focus your practice time so you can quickly shave strokes off your score. Download Swing U and start owning your game today.
Visit our website at KostisMcCord.com, like and subscribe at our YouTube channel, and on any social media, Kostis and McCord, off their rockers. I just can't tell you enough how great it was to be at Nemacolin. You can check it out at Nemacolin.com. It's so incredible. The service was impeccable. The 2 Pete Dye golf courses, Mystic Rock and Shepherd, are gorgeous. Follow them on Instagram or on Twitter at Nemacolin, and Nemacolin.com is a place to watch. We're going to go back to Nemacolin now for the evening session. We do some questions and answers with myself, Peter, and Gary with the membership there. And don't go away, because we're also going to have another Coach Kostis tip to help your game right here on Kostis and McCord, off their rockers. Now back to Nemacolin.
Would you guys share? On our show, we're going to get some question and answers for you. I'm going to get one started with the guys, and we did it on our first episode of Kostis and McCord, off their rockers. You can find it on YouTube. But share the story just real quick for me, Peter and Gary. The day you got the call from CBS back in the fall of 2019, when they got informed that their services weren't.
So it was a Thursday night. I believe it was Thursday night. And I get a call from CBS, from Sean McManus, and he said, basically what he said was, we've decided to not exercise your 2-year option. We're going to make some changes. We think things have gotten a bit stale, and we're going to go in a new direction. So please don't take this personally. I go, yeah, right, okay. And so he said, what we'd like for you to do is work the first event at San Diego, then come back and do Phoenix, your hometown, and we'll give you a proper send-off where you can retire at Phoenix. And in 2018, Johnny Miller retired in Phoenix. And I said, hell no, I'm not going to do that. I mean, Johnny Miller retired in Phoenix. I'm not going to copy him. And besides of which, you're not doing this for me, you're doing this for you. So we had a rather abrupt hang up at the phone. And so I hung up, and I'm steaming, and I call him. I said, Gary, have you heard anything from CBS? Because we were the only two with our options up. And he said, no, why, what happened? He goes, well, I just got fired. They elected to not take up my option. Now there's kids here, aren't there? Yeah, okay. This guy, whose initials are SOB, he's talking to me, but he's scrolling through his phone to see what's going on. He doesn't see anything. No messages from CBS or whatever. So he's going, damn, it's a shame.
I'm safe.
It's a shame that Peter's gone, but I'm good. And he's laughing his butt off. And so...
Sure you got fired? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Peter,
So-
what are you going to do? Oh,
so
my
the
God.
next day he wakes up,
You go.
and you can
Tell
take
them what
it.
happened when you woke up. Now, the unedited version we're not going to say tonight, you can watch on the show. But go ahead.
Well, as everybody knows, I got a cell phone here. Sometimes you get a voicemail, and it doesn't come 24 hours. Sometimes it gets lost up there. Well, all of a sudden, I'm kind of scrolling down, and I hear on my phone the next day, I hear a beep. And I look, and there's a voice. I just look at it, and it was 212.
New York City.
So I go, I immediately put the phone down and put it right there. And I looked at it like, I know what that is. I do not want to push that button. So I sat there for 10 minutes and I went, all right, boom. And he said the same thing. And he said, we're getting stale and we're getting, My buddies call me a lot of things. They don't call me stale. That's just not what it is. So I got pissed off too, and we got fired basically.
Yeah.
And they hired Davis Love. I love Davis, but Davis is not television.
So I'm sure you guys have always wanted to ask these two guys questions. Might that be about LIV? I think we've got one right here. Let me bring you the key. Hold on one sec. Whoops.
The bird, right? They shot the air up, went up in the air.
3 of them. There were three of them. Yeah.
Were they guys or girls? Birds.
They were female because the males don't listen.
Okay, I was going to just...
Right, ladies? Males don't listen.
I'm trying to figure out why I kept coming back for more air.
I watched them train the damn thing, which was amazing. I didn't know you could train a pelican. I had no idea you could train a pelican. None.
You guys are really upset you gave me the mic. All right, what's the deal with LIV? I want your takes.
Go, Peter.
LIV Golf.
Does everybody know what LIV Golf is? You know what it stands for? 54 holes, LIV, Roman numerals. Okay.
Roman numeral
We'll get that
54.
started. Go.
So, LIV Golf may not be for everybody, but it doesn't mean it's for nobody, in my opinion. I think it will evolve and grow into something that's actually going to be quite good for golf. They managed to, I'll go back to Phil Mickelson at the Ryder Cup at Glen Eagles in Scotland when he essentially threw Captain Tom Watson under the bus at the end of that. But he voiced his opinion about what was wrong with the Ryder Cup. The U.S. was losing every year or every other year. And you can argue that Phil was completely wrong in the way he did it, but he got a lot of changes done for the Ryder Cup, and the U.S. team has performed better, and they're a better team now because of that happening. And for over 30 years, players have been coming to the PGA Tour telling them what they need to have happen. And the tour said, no, we can't do it. No, we can't do it. No, we don't have enough money for it. And then along comes LIV, and you can argue all you want to. I'm not going to go down the hypocrisy route of human rights and all that stuff. But Phil going to LIV and helping them get that started, all of a sudden, presto bingo, the PGA Tour finds $250,000. I mean, no, $250 million, $250 million that they can put into their tour all of a sudden. So I think that the PGA Tour players have benefited from this. I think LIV Golf is okay. I mean, I played golf 2 days ago at Michael Jordan's course in Palm Beach Gardens in Florida. And the golf carts go 30 miles an hour. You can drive them wherever you want. They all have boom boxes, speakers, Wi-Fi, everything in there. And you play sixsomes, sevensomes, whatever you want. Everybody takes a cart and off you go. 6 people play in 3 hours and 30 minutes. That's the LIV Golf of the club memberships going forward. And I think that there's a market for that. I think there's a younger generation that we're trying to bring in, and they don't want to button their top button, and they don't want to do a lot of traditional things. So I think eventually LIV Golf will get morphed into the golf scene, the professional golf scene, and it'll be okay.
Is Paul Casey happy he made the change?
Paul Casey is extremely happy that he made the change. He's got 2 young kids. He's 45 years old. He signed for a considerable amount of money. His family is set for life in terms of finances. He's playing 14 events this year. He gets to see his daughter and son grow up and so on, and he can still remain competitive. So, yeah, he's really happy.
Is David Feherty happy he made the change?
I think David, I think David is happy because I think David has a better chance of being David on these telecasts. That being said, as much as I think that LIV Golf will end up being pretty good for the game. Their telecasts have to get a whole lot better. They're not very good right now.
Gary,
fact,
your
they're
take
awful.
on LIV, Gary.
You have to remember that Gary was the architect of the all-exempt tour. So he bleeds PGA Tour. So he's going to take the
Well,
other side of the equation.
No, I'm not, because this is a natural occurrence that's going to happen. Sooner or later, somebody was going to try to come and try to because I go back to television, the rights fees are so expensive right now. The reason the PGA Tour, as Peter was mentioning, the tour signed a 7-year deal for $9 billion, which started in 2022. The tour then got $736 million a year from last year until 2030. This whole thing, all it's done is spawn players from all over the world making a lot of money. A lot. PGA Tour now has got, I believe there's 14 events over 20 million. We didn't have anything over 20 million before. LIV has got, they're playing 14 this year at 20 million. These guys are now making a lot of money in golf as a business. A lot of money. And it took a country with a PIF of $670 billion to decide that they want to go at the PGA Tour as a tour and start a tour up. So they went and bought these guys. These guys all went for different reasons. There were actually young guys that went, which I found astounding, and there were old guys that went because they can't beat the young guys on the tour anyway. So why not get 20, 30 million, whatever they're getting? Nobody knows how much they're getting for the length. So the whole thing, I think, is in the right direction. I agree kind of with Peter that we're going to end up in a world tour, and there's going to be 30 tournaments. They're all going to be for probably $30 million, which is unbelievable. The feeder tour will be underneath it, feeding guys into that tour. Those guys fall out. That's going to end up being the evaluation, I think, of all of this mess. And I'm talking a mess because the court proceedings will probably last, if we keep going, 7 to 10 years to get this thing done through the courts. And I trust and this is really interesting, and I trust this. This is countries going against countries, and they're claiming they're sovereign nations and you can't touch it. They're trying to get Al Romaniana right now to she's subpoenaed in San Jose for him to come over and tell the court system of the United States where he's spending all of his $670 billion. Guess what? He's not coming over here to do that. So it's literally a mess legally. And I hope the golf population doesn't get involved with watching and listening to the court proceedings and not the golf. That seems to be the big problem.
And lastly on this subject, my great hope for this really didn't have anything to do with 54 holes or shotgun starts or how much money the players were playing for. I honestly thought that because they had deep pockets, they would be able to present a television product that was incredibly entertaining, informative, and that people would really want to tune in to see because they had the money to do it. And they haven't done it. They've blown that completely. They suck at golf television. And I was hoping that they would be able to have shot tracer on every shot, mic the players, mic the caddies, no commercials, show a lot of golf. And I thought that they would force the hand of NBC and CBS and Golf Channel to change and upgrade their coverage, because I think the last couple of years it's been pretty abysmal, quite frankly. I mean, it's commercial, 2 shots, 3 commercials, 1 shot. And so I thought maybe the landscape from a viewer perspective could be changed and the viewer could have a little bit more fun watching golf, but that ain't going to happen anytime soon either. So next question.
We've got one on the game of golf and of our 2-time PGA Tour Champions winner.
Yeah, so putting, Garrett, how did you become the putting champion of,
Well, that was easy.
Yeah.
He missed every green.
Well, I love that. I'd love
He
to
missed
hear
every
more
green, chipped it up
on
to
that
3 feet.
strategy.
The
Missed
exact
every-
conversation was, it was Pensacola, it was 1984. Now, I could at that time beat my mother playing golf. I was playing so bad. But I was in second place behind George Archer in the putting deal. And the putting deal was, you didn't get any money for it. You didn't get anything for it other than a little medallion that says you were the putting champion on the PGA Tour in whatever year. So I said, okay, this is my only chance I'm probably going to win anything. So I went up to George Archer and I said, George, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, we have one round to go. It's the last round of the year at Pensacola. I said, George, here's the deal. My caddy has been told to give me the yardage to the front of the green, take 5 yards off, and I'm going to miss every green. Because to measure the putting deal, once you got on the green, that's when it started in those days, okay? So I was really good chipper, and I missed every green and chipped up and one putted 15 of them. So he had no chance. And so that's really the only thing I ever won on the tour. And I'm proud of it because George was a good putter. He just couldn't stand the pressure of that one.
My question is, if you were good enough to take 5 yards off of the front of the green and hit it to that exact yardage
No, I did
all
not.
day long.
I did not hit it to that exact yardage. Sometimes it was
okay.
20 yards short, sometimes 40 yards to the left, 20 yards to the
okay.
right.
All right.
But it was never going to get there on a good shot. Ever, ever,
right.
ever.
Next
Got a
question.
question right over here.
So the scene where they have the long drive competition at the driving range, and Kevin bets the other guy he could hit it further than the other guy puts it down the road. Did that actually happen?
Yeah. Most of that stuff in the gambling was done by a guy named Titanic Thompson, who was go look him up, Google, Titanic Thompson. The greatest gambler the world has ever known back in the 20s, 30s. He once hustled Al Capone out of 10 grand. And that's just stupid. He killed 5 guys. We tried to get a movie done on him, the same guys at Tin Cup, because I am a big fan of Titanic Thompson. So we went, visited his kids, everything. And we never got the movie made, but all the gambling stuff was all true stories of Titanic Thompson. Alvin Clarence Thomas was his real name.
Well, guys, we appreciate this. We really want to thank the Nemacolin, the Woodlands Resort, how incredible it was. Thanks for hosting us. Gary and Peter, we're going to sit around, have a drink. Please feel free to come up, ask them a couple questions, take a picture, whatever. And just want to thank you guys, and make sure you tune in our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@KostisMcCord. Thanks so much for having us. Really appreciate it. You got a great club.
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Hope you're enjoying Kostis and McCord off their rockers. Thanks again for watching, and we've got more for you coming up. Got another great tip from Coach Kostis. And remember to share, like, and subscribe on our YouTube channel or wherever you enjoy social media. You can find more Kostis and McCord off their rockers, youtube.com/@KostisMcCord, and our website, KostisMcCord.com. Make sure to subscribe, send notes, and you don't want to miss an episode coming up. We've got some great ones coming up for you real soon. Let's get to another great tip from Coach Kostis that's going to really help your game.
Hi, Peter here in my Foresight Sports Sim in a Box simulator with my quad, measuring my golf ball, measuring my golf club. But today what I want to do with this setup is to give you a little bit of a conceptual understanding about the golf swing. Because I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there that people try to work into their golf game that just aren't right. For example, there's no such thing as a swing plane, in my opinion. There's a swing shape. You know, there's been players who've taken the club back around and then come over the top and played very well. Sam Snead, arguably the best at that. There's been golfers that have gone back and up a lot and then dropped it to the inside. Currently you got Matthew Wolf, you had Jim Furyk. So what you have is a shape to your swing. Now I want to give you some guardrails to your shape so you're not out of bounds. When I set up to this golf ball, I've got this device and I can change the lie angles of these sticks, but basically what I want to have happen, I want to have this outside stick going from the golf ball through my throat, through my Adam's apple. And I want this lower stick to be the shaft angle of the club I'm using. In this case, it's my pitching wedge. So you see this little piece of pie shape right here? I want my golf swing to occur inside that piece of pie. Now within reason, I don't care if you go back a little bit on the inside here and then come down a little bit out there, as long as you're inside that piece of pie. I might prefer a little bit more if you went back closer to the outside stick and came down just over the inside stick, but that's a personal preference. What I want you to do, and this is a great tip for those of you who like to video your golf swings, make sure you set the camera up right perfectly through your hands, right down your target line, and then you can either draw some lines on the video or put some sticks up. But what you want to do is just simply practice going back, coming down in that piece of pie. If you can do that, you're going to have a fairly repetitive, consistent golf swing, and you'll be able to eliminate the foul balls. It's when the club gets in underneath here or out over there that we end up in trouble. So remember, the piece of pie, right there, right up the middle, all the way to the top, come back down and rotate through, and actually you will exit on that same piece of pie. So try it. Get yourself a couple of sticks. It'll help your golf game.
Thanks again for watching Kostis and McCord Off Their Rockers. Peter and Gary, really appreciate the support. We've got a lot more in store for you in the coming weeks and months. So remember to like, subscribe, and share. Follow us on all social media. You can see it on your screen right now. Thanks again to our sponsor, Swing U. We appreciate their help and support. Please go to the Swing U app and check it out. You can download the free app, and their premium app has got some unbelievable features, including green reading and strokes gained that can really help your game. So look for us very soon. We'll be back with another episode of Kostis and McCord Off Their Rockers.